everyone! I'm so excited to be working on another project with everyone today. We are going to be doing Morse code beaded bracelets. You can see right here, I'm wearing my bracelet, and we are going to be working with our Morse code beaded bracelet kit. I'm going to show you what's in the kit, and then we'll work through the whole project from beginning to end. So in our Morse code beaded bracelet kit, you'll get your bag of beads. You'll get, let's see right here. So we've got our bag of beads, and we have our different elastic cord that you can work with. So you can see this bracelet here, I chose the blue. All the kits will have different colors. So you might have pink, you might have green. Pick one of your favorites. And then we also have our handy Morse code our cheat sheet to show us kind of how we can design our bracelets using secret messages. And then from at home, you'll want to gather some scissors. I have some tape. I just have painter's tape that I grabbed to help me with this project. And I have a ruler and a few markers, but none of that is necessarily required. You just definitely have to have scissors. So when we start our bracelet, we really want to think about the design of our bracelet. And I keep talking about these secret messages. And we are going to plan out our design first. I've got a really handy top-down view, so I'm going to switch our camera feed, and I'm going to kind of walk everything through tabletop. Okay, so here is that Morse code beaded bracelet guide that I talked about, and I have an example here already, but I decided to pick a new word for today, and we are going to be doing joy. So a good amount of beads for a bracelet would be 26 beads. So you want to think about words that are maybe 3 to 4 letters long. And then we're going to start designing it. So I already took a look at some of the beads that I had and the colors I wanted to use. So I'm going to be showing you how I came up with this design here. When we work with Morse code, you can see Morse code is all about dots and dashes, and each letter has its own series of dots and dashes. So if we want to use the letter J, up here we have a dot and 3 dashes. So what we can do is we can pick a color for every dot, and we can pick a color for every dash. So I'm going to pick purple for my dots. So if I wanted to just start off with the letter J, I'm going to do 1 dot. I'm just going to start it right over here with purple. And then we have 3 dashes, and I'm going to use orange for my dashes. So we've got 3 dashes. Now I want to know when we are moving on to a new letter. So I'm going to use yellow for that. So yellow is going to say, okay, I'm ready for my next letter. And that next letter is O. So we can see right up here that O is 1, 2, 3 dashes. And remember, my orange is my dash color. So we have 1, 2, 3 orange ones for our O. And then we're going to come in here and say, hey, we're going to skip to a new letter. So we're going to put our yellow one in there. And then we are going to do our Y. Our Y is dash, dot, dash, dash. And remember, we've got our orange is our dash. And then we have purple for our dot. And then we have our 2 other dashes. Orange and orange. So now we've charted out the secret message that we want to put in our bracelet. And you can see right here, I took a piece of tape and I turned it sticky side up. So this is the sticky side. And I'm using it to place my beads onto so that we can hold them in the pattern that we want to do before we start to make our bracelet. So I know where my letters start, so I'll just help you out. So this is purple and purple. So you've got 1 purple, 1 purple, and then we've got 1, 2, 3 orange, 1, 2, 3, orange, and then we've got my yellow, and the rest of my letters through here. And then what I wanted to do is I wanted to give myself a way to know when the letters stopped. So I just put 2 yellow on either side of my letters. So when we make our bracelet, we're gonna do some beads, we're gonna do our 2 yellow ones, and then we're gonna start with our J space O space Y. And that's gonna be the end of our word. So like I said, it's really good to have around 26 beads. So I didn't have enough space to show you down here, but I have these beads set up. So these are gonna be kind of on the front part of our design, and these are gonna be on the back part of our design. So all in all, I counted it up and I think I came up with 27 beads, which is gonna fit my wrist nice. You can always add more to the beginning and end, or you can add in words that have a few more letters to add in a lot more beads. And then I've got one more bead I'm gonna pick, and that's gonna be this bead here. And I think I'm gonna pick an orange one for that one. So I've got all my beads planned out, and let's get started creating our bracelet. If you're not interested in putting a secret message in your bracelet, you can just lay out a design that looks interesting. You can pick from all of your different bead colors and just set them up, or you can just grab them randomly as you go. So after we're done with our design, we want to take our elastic. So I pre-cut this, but when you have your rolls of elastic, I grabbed a ruler and then I found the end of my elastic and I held it right here to measure 3 feet. So this is 1 foot right here. So I'm gonna pinch here and I'm gonna move this spot over here. So you can see we've got 1 foot here, and if we're at this point and we bring it along, we've got another foot. So now that's 2 feet, 1, 2. I'm gonna pinch it right here and move that over to the 1, to the 0 actually, to the end of the ruler. And you can see we've got 3 feet, and I cut a little bit of extra. If you're working with more than the 26 beads for like this size, then you can cut 4 feet just to make sure you have enough length. So to start, I'm gonna find the 2 ends of my elastic cord so then I can find the center of it. So this center right here, you can see I've got my 2 ends, here's my center. I'm gonna be tying a knot right here. And I'm just gonna do an overhand knot. I'm just gonna do it with all of our cords. I'm gonna take that loop, tuck it around, and then we have the start of our cord. So this elastic cord, we can pull it pretty tight because we want that knot to be really secure. And we can pull it from both sides, and then we're ready to go. I'm gonna take a piece of tape and secure that to my tabletop. And remember, the way that I have my beads laid out, I'm gonna start here, I'm gonna do these, and I'm gonna jump down here, I'm gonna do these, and then jump back up to do this and finish with this bead. So this is how we put our beads on. We've got our 2 cords coming out here, and you can see we've got the 2 ends of our cord. I'm gonna grab my first bead, and I'm gonna hold it so that the holes are facing out, and I'm gonna take my left one and I'm gonna thread it through this way, and then there's enough space that I'm gonna hold that, and we're gonna take this end and we're gonna go through the opposite direction. So you can see we have our bead and we have this cord coming through this way, that's this end, and we have this cord going through this way, that's this end. So then I'm gonna pull both of those ends until our bead goes all the way to the top, and we want it right next to that knot we made. Now, same thing. We're gonna take our next bead, and I'm gonna hold it right here. I'm gonna stick this one through this way, and we wanna make sure that our strings go through the opposite directions. So this one's gonna go through here. And then we're just gonna keep going, making sure you pick up the next one. That's why I like to have the design figured out before I start beading. So then I know I don't have to think about the pattern. All I have to do is grab the next one in the row. Now these ones right here, they're just part of the design. I wanted to add some beads on either side of my letters to make the bracelet long enough to fit around my wrist. And now we did kind of all these beads up here. I'm going to jump down here. My 2 yellow beads are telling me my word is coming up next. We're going to do our 2 yellow beads. And now we're going to get into our word. So if we remember, our J was 1 dot, that's our purple, and 3 dashes, which is our orange. While I'm stringing the rest of these beads on, I'm just following my pattern. I didn't start off with an introduction, so my name's Amy, and I am coming to you from my Sunshiny studio in Phoenix, Arizona. This is Sunshine Craft Co. And we've been going live every other week with different projects to create at home. We have kits available for each of the projects we're doing. So we have this beaded bracelet kit available. We have it on our site, sunshinecraftco.com. And you'll get the beads we're working with, the elastic we're working with, and then that Morse code sheet that we were using to plan out the design of our bracelet. Let's see, last week we did fiber rainbows, and next week, well, 2 weeks ago we did fiber rainbows, and then in 2 weeks we're going to be doing printmaking cards. That's one of my favorites, so don't miss that one. This is such a relaxing project to figure out your design and then bead all of it together. The first one I made, I used the word sun. I thought that was appropriate for Sunshine Craft Co. Plus it's summer, so we do fun in the sun. And then the one I'm wearing, I actually beaded in the word calm. So C-A-L-M, because I needed a good reminder to stay calm. As you work on your beading, you can kind of see if it's long enough for your wrist. If you get to the end and kind of put it around your wrist, it's not long enough, feel free just to add a few more beads. You want to make sure it's not that it's comfortable and it's not cutting off any of your wrist circulation, or that it's no fun to wear. You could also think about making a longer one for your ankle. I know I have one that I wear on my ankle, and the same thing, it's got kind of a message beaded into it, and it's a good reminder to me that I like to see. So I'm just finishing up my words, and I'm going to switch over to the camera to make sure everyone kind of finishes up in the same place. So I'm going to switch over. So you can see I've got all of my letters. This is J-O-Y, and then we've got the 2 yellows to offset our letters. And then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to finish with these 2 white and these purples. But you can kind of see the ends of my cords are getting a little frayed. So I'm just going to cut a tiny bit off, so then I've got a nice clean end that I'm working with, and that's easier to thread through my beads. After I'm done with this live, I'll definitely be checking all of your comments if you have any questions. I'd also love to know if you're picking a specific word to put in your bracelet. I'd love to hear what you've chosen. Definitely leave that in the comments, and I will be able to answer any questions. So, okay, I did the entire design that I was planning on beading, and I'm just gonna double check. I'm gonna put my wrist here, and oh yep, that definitely makes it around. That's good length for me. So just like we started up here, we had the knot at the top. We want to put a knot at the bottom of our bracelet. So I'm gonna take both of those cords together, and I'm going to take the ends and wrap them around and pull them through. So you can see we just have like an overhand knot there. And then I'm gonna try to get it up as close to that bead as possible. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take both of these and kind of pull out, and then I'm gonna push up. And with that elastic, you can really give it a good pull so that it tightens up. So once we feel good about the length and then we have a knot on either side, I'm gonna take this piece of tape off so we can finish up our bracelet. The way that we can attach it together, so you can go ahead and you can just tie these together if you want. You can tie them together on your wrist, you can tie them in an overhand knot, but I have this extra little bead that I used for finishing mine up. And what we do with that is we take our extra bead. I'm gonna send these 2 through it first. We're gonna send 2 of these through the hole. And then I am going to hold them down. We're gonna be taking this loop and we're gonna be going through the same direction. So you can see this bead is coming down here. These elastic cords went through it this direction, and this loop we're gonna be sending through the same direction. And you might have to pull down. I'm gonna try to pull down on these cords that are running through it in order to make that hole a little bigger. Then I'm gonna try to get this loop through that hole. So I'm just gonna pull it right through there. So you can see all 4 of our cords are going through the bead in the same exact direction. And I'm gonna pull all of them. You can maybe even pull on them individually to make sure that bead is all the way pushed up against those 2 knots that we started and ended with. And then I'm just going to do one final overhand knot right up against this bead to hold it in place. And that's going to mean with all 4 of these. So if you have kind of a shorter loop, you just got to be really careful, and you can kind of pull it. That's what's nice about it being elastic, is we just want to pull it around and pull everything through, all 4 of them. And then we're gonna again push that right against that orange bead, and I'm gonna pull on each side of that elastic cord individually so that we have a nice tight knot against that orange bead. And then I'm just gonna leave about 1/4 inch and then snip my ends. And we have a bracelet. So if you recall, we know the secret message in here, right? So it starts with the 2 yellow, and then we've got J. The yellow means we're skipping to a new letter. We've got our O. Yellow means we're going to a different letter, and then we have Y. And that's what we used our Morse code bracelet guide for. Planned out our design. And then we can slip that on, and we've got a fun summer bracelet. So that's how you do the Morse code beaded bracelet. I'm so excited that you followed along with our project today. Like I said, we do have kits available. It comes with the beads we worked with today, the elastic cord, and then that Morse code beaded bracelet guide, so you can plan out your design using Morse code. It's available at sunshinecraftco.com, and if you look under at home kits, it's going to be Facebook project packs. So if you have any questions, please leave it in the comments. I can direct you to where those kits are. And then the tutorial for this with all the details is going to live over on our blog. So I'll put the link up for that once we have it up. So thanks so much for joining today, guys. Great to see everyone.